Hello and welcome back, people. Today's video we are going to be looking at Jurgen Klopp's tactics, and in Football Manager we are going to try and replicate that. We will analyse Jurgen Klopp's tactics, figure out why it's so successful in real life. In Football Manager we are going to try and take some key elements of that and replicate that into the game. The tactic in Football Manager does very well, of course it does. With Liverpool we absolutely smashed the Premiership and we did well in the Champions League as well, so don't forget to check out the Football Manager tactic. Before we get stuck into things though, make sure you are subscribed to the channel, make sure you like this video. You can also leave a comment. Now this tactic was a request from a Patreon member, which is one of the reasons why we're doing it, so don't forget to check out the Patreon as well. OneFootball also sponsored this video, so make sure you check out the app and support the channel. OneFootball have been amazing enough to sponsor this video, and what I need for you guys to do is check out the app. The link will be in the description. It's fairly easy to do. You can download it via the link or you can use the barcode on the screen. The app is a great footballing app. It's where you can check the latest statistics, the latest football news. You can also watch some live free games. Yes, you heard me right. You can watch free games live for free on the footballing app. It's my favorite place to keep up to date with the most recent football news. You can also find some fantastic analysis and match reports on the OneFootball app as well. If you're attempting to replicate tactics like I do on this channel, you can also use this app to grab the latest match stats and all of that good stuff. So make sure you check out the app. The link is in the description, but also you can use the barcode on the screen, and trust me, you will not regret downloading this app. Liverpool have used their trusted 4-3-3 formation in all of their competitive games so far this season. At times, Liverpool's attacking shape can look like a 2-1-4-3 that sees both fullbacks push into the midfield unit. Although, this shape hardly ever looks perfect, as we see many positional rotations, especially with Alexander-Arnold, Henderson and Mohamed Salah. We've seen scenarios where Trent underlaps Salah, Henderson overlaps Trent, which pulls defenders out of position, and Mo Salah could exploit gaps both wide and in those channels. Klopp's 4-3-3 is fluid that has players roaming around and interchanging, making Liverpool unpredictable and difficult to defend against. One of Liverpool's greatest assets is their ability to keep possession of the ball and play out from the back. It's probably no surprise to anyone that the Reds rank second behind Manchester City in possession with 60%. The fullbacks tend to be heavily involved in the build-up because Liverpool build up with a wider shape, which can also open up the central channels. If the opportunity is on, Virgil van Dijk has the license to attempt those long diagonal passes. Building from the back, Liverpool can have a 4-1 shape, but the 4-1 shape is not positionally disciplined. It could be the left-sided central midfielder is in the pivot space, or it could be the holding midfielder, and if it's the holding midfielder, this allows the right-sided central midfielder to be high and wide, with Trent Alexander-Arnold inverting inside. Andy Robertson, meanwhile, will operate as the wider and higher fullback of the two. The likes of Salah and Mane are very high and wide, while Firmino drops deep to create a 4 vs 3 against the opposition midfield. The use of Firmino doesn't just stop there, as he is also used to create wide overloads and also as a roaming player in the midfield, whereas Mane or Salah would be high and take his position as the striker. These positional rotations can be disruptive for any defence. Firmino can also be seen in the image dropping deep and helping his team in such areas where they can create superiorities and move the ball up the pitch. Another thing that Klopp has exploited in this Liverpool setting is the use of Trent Alexander-Arnold. The right back no longer provides only width like he used to a couple seasons back and deliver crosses from wider regions. He has been given more of a versatile positional sense and now plays a similar role to what KDB has been doing for Pep. The right half space, which is considered to be one of the most highest value zones in modern football, is where Klopp uses him these days. We can see him in the right half space, mostly inverting inside and looking to play crosses from these positions. Liverpool's fullbacks, not exclusively, make underlapping runs, and this plays a part in their chance creation. If the player making a run is found, he can then drive towards the byline to play across the goal or pull it back to a teammate, resulting in a clear scoring opportunity. The key to Liverpool's successful attacking actions is their constant movement and efficiency in exploiting spaces. Despite the penetrative attacking triangles on the right, the team balance off and split up the building responsibilities well by using all channels. Klopp's pressing strategies is also crucial to their performance. The Reds make sure to press high, but not irresponsibly, with the striker pressing on the centre-backs, while the wingers are assigned to cover the half spaces where they can easily intercept any balls to the fullbacks. Liverpool look to force their opponents out wide, and when they press out wide, they form defensive triangles or diamonds depending on how many players the opposition have in that wider area. Forcing the opponents outside can result in the opponents playing backwards or making mistakes if the press is set up well, because if they pass the ball centrally, Liverpool will pounce and counter. But also, the touchline is an extra defender, as the player in possession cannot play the ball out wide. Salah and Mane don't really have any degree of defensive responsibilities in their own half, but they are required to put pressure on the opposition higher up the pitch. Mane is more likely to do so in an attempt to force a mistake and win the ball himself, whereas Salah is more likely to do so in an attempt to force a mistake and allow someone else to win the ball. Their constant press and aim to win the ball also results into counter-attacks. Another indicator of the Reds' successful positioning and the press is the number of recoveries. Against AC Milan, for example, in the Champions League, they recovered the ball 81 times, 29 in the final third and 28 in the midfield, with the midfield trio throwing a lot of effort into gaining back possession. For reference, 39 of Milan's 64 recoveries happened in their own third and only 5 in the advanced areas. But unfortunately, that wraps up this very brief Jurgen Klopp tactical analysis. Like I said before, there is a more in-depth analysis in the description below. And for now, we are going to go into Football Manager to have a look at the tactic that we have created for Jurgen Klopp in Football Manager to see how well Liverpool will do. So now, let's head over to Football Manager. Here we are in Football Manager, and here we do have the tactic. It's a 4-3-3, of course. It's slightly different to the one that we did in Football Manager 2021, hence the reason why we are making an FM22 version as well. But who knows, Jurgen Klopp might tweak his own tactics himself later during the year. I mean, every Football Manager kind of does that anyway, so later on in the year, if there are some noticeable differences, we may end up covering the same tactic again. But we're going to go through the instructions, the player roles and their instructions as well, before looking at the results and the data. The data for me, absolutely love it on FM22. So for the mentality, we are using that attacking mentality. It does focus on getting people further forward, but also it does work very well in setting up those counter attacks. For the attacking width, we are set to narrow, so I know we are going to try and use all channels. So to try and use all channels, we have set the attacking width to narrow, but we are also going to focus down the left and down the right. So in the approach play, we are going to focus down the left and down the right, but we're also going to try and add those underlaps as well. So we're going to underlap on the left and underlap on the right as well, hoping Andrew Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold can make those more narrow runs. We are also going to be playing out from the defense. The passing directness is set to slightly shorter, so we are going to be more possession based, but you will see later in the results I wasn't necessarily happy with the possession numbers. The tempo is set to extremely high. In the final third, it's whipped crosses and work the ball into the box. In transition, when the possession has been lost, we are going to counter press, of course, and when the possession has been won, again, of course, we are going to make those counter movements. When the goalkeeper's in possession, we will look to distribute the ball quickly and look for those central defenders. Out of possession, we are using a much higher line of engagement, a higher defensive line, the offside trap with forced opposition outside, so it's very, very intense. We are using a tighter marking, but the trigger press is set to more often instead of extremely often. You can change that during the games. You are supposed to play with this little thing anyway. So when you feel that you can press much more often during games, that is when you can change it to much more often. By default, it's set to more often. And if you feel you need to take your foot off the gas a little bit, then you can set the trigger press to slightly more often. But you can also drop the tempo as well. And as you can see, the intensity does drop when you do lower the tempo and the pressing intensity. So now for the player roles. In goal for the Alisson role, we do have the sweeper keeper taking fewer risks. He is a sweeper keeper on the attacking mentality and the extremely high tempo. The goalkeeper also tends to take those risks as well. So for the sweeper keeper, we are going to be asking him to take fewer risks. In central defense, we do have a ball playing defender. Again, pass it shorter for similar reasons, as well as dribble less, and his defensive partner is the central defender, similar instructions, similar reasons. As the left back, we do have a fullback on the attacking duty. He's going to be crossing from the byline, closing down more often. At right back, trying to replicate that Trent role, we are using a fullback on support, and he's going to be taking more risk, crossing more often, dribbling less, so he takes a pass first or cross first mentality, and also close down more. In defensive midfield, we do have a halfback, and the reason being, for me personally, when I watch Liverpool, I feel that the pivot, the single pivot, is always engaging with the two central defenders. It also makes those fullback movements nicer as well. So when the halfback comes deep, we will notice more of the fullback getting further forward or making those underlapping runs, and same too as that fullback on support. In central midfield, we do have a box-to-box midfielder, someone roaming about, and a midfield partner, again, someone that's roaming about but more advanced in those areas, trying to operate high and wide so we can get some nice positional rotations with the fullback, Mezzala and Mohamed Salah. Speaking of Mohamed Salah, the inside forward on the right is on attack. He's going to be shooting more often but also stay wider, whilst the left-sided inside forward is on support. Sadio Mane is going to be sitting more narrower, allowing the fullback to advance. And lastly, up top, we do have that false nine replicating Firmino's role. So that there is the tactic. We can now go and look at the results and the data to see how well Liverpool done using this tactic. Well, we are Liverpool, so you can guess that we done very well. Let's just see how well we actually did. So looking at the competitions in the Premier League, we were the league winners. We played 38, we won 34, we drew 3, meaning that we lost just the one game. We had a goal difference of plus 95. We scored a lot of goals, and the points tally on 105 as well. In the Champions League, we went out as the winners. We beat Bayern Munich 3-0 in the final. If we check the final, Mo Salah, of course, he scored 2 goals, whilst Firmino scored the third and last goal for Liverpool. You can see the game was fairly tight. We had the same amount of shots. We had 5 on target, they had just the 2. Our XG was slightly better. The possession though, Bayern Munich had a lot more possession than we did. Mo Salah, man of the match, of course, played a 9.4. In the Emirates FA Cup, we got knocked out in the semi-final by Arsenal, and in the Carabao Cup, we got knocked out in the 4th round by Leicester City. Looking at the Premier League, of course, we did score a lot of goals. We scored 113, but we can also look at the stats overview. So for Liverpool, we scored 113 goals. That is 11 more than Manchester United, though Manchester United did have more shots than us. For the shots against, we do finish top of that group with 245. Best pass completion, we are in 3rd place with 91%. For the most possession, this is what I was disappointed about. We aren't in the top 8, which is a huge disappointment. Most tackles won, again, we aren't there. For the most dribbles made, we are second though with 571. Manchester City just completely dominated in that regard. For the clean sheets, we had 23 clean sheets, and we also conceded the fewest. For the most goals, it is Cristiano Ronaldo, but Mo Salah only played 26 games. Ronaldo only played 29, but who knows, if Salah did play those 3 extra games, maybe, just maybe, Salah would have been the top goal scorer. For the assist, it is Trent Alexander-Arnold on 18, James Milner is there on 13, most shots 4, we do have Mo Salah in 8th place. For the most man of the match awards, we do have Trent with 10, Mo Salah with 7, most key passes, Trent with 182, best pass completion, nobody there, most tackles won, nobody there. Most dribbles made, we do have Andrew Robertson on 133. I tried Robertson on a few different roles. Each role, he's just performing similar. He was very, very effective. For the most clean sheets, we do have Alisson on 21, and for the fewest conceded, Alisson on 18. Now we can look at the data, and we can look at the pass map. Now the pass map, I said in my previous video, this can change slightly on a game-to-game basis. It all depends on your opposition. Now I'm going to throw out 2 more pass maps with the exact same tactic, but the opposition are playing different shapes, different formations, but they're also set up differently. Sometimes the opponents are sitting back, and that allows certain players to get further forward, whilst the opponents may press us, and that makes certain players sit back and more restrictive in their movements. So your pass map can slightly change, but it shouldn't look completely different. It shouldn't do. For the shooting, we were aggressive, and we did have some high quality shooting. For the attacking efficiency, we were aggressive and clinical. For the crossing, we did put in a lot of crosses, but those crosses were fairly accurate. For the passing, again, a lot of passes and they were accurate as well. So though we were good with our passing, I just felt that the possession stats could have been a little bit better. For the goal output, we were high quality shooting with a strong defence, and for the shot map in general, in the last 5 games, we did have an expected goal of 8.6. We did score 12 in our last 5 with 68 attempts, 44 with our feet, 20 with our heads, and 4 with the direct set piece. But that there wraps up the data. As you can see, we were a very dominant side. We were of course dominant in the Champions League as well, but now we can look at the squad stats, have a look at the top goal scorers within the Liverpool squad, and also the top creators. So now looking at the goals, it's no surprise to see that Mo Salah actually scored the most goals with 28 goals in all competitions, but he also has 14 assists. Roberto Firmino has 18 goals, Sadio Mane has 13, Divock Origi, James Milner also have 13, with Virgil van Dijk on 12 and Diego Jota on 11. For the top assist in the team is Trent Alexander-Arnold, again no surprise, with Costas on 15 assists, Mohamed Salah on 14, James Milner on 13 and Andrew Robertson on 10. But unfortunately, that wraps up this Football Manager video, and I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Don't forget, if you have enjoyed this video, make sure you are subscribed, make sure you like the video. You can also leave a comment with any tactical recommendations, but I will see you guys soon. Stay safe and peace out. God bless.